Greetings, royal family. So we back with the jump off. Lil Kim Girls Cruise episode, what is this, 4, 3? All right, I'm going to tell you the truth. I was a little nervous. With that whole MYA and, see, I almost forgot the girl's name. Tiffany, little situation. Because if you remember, when the girls were in Barbados, I think, MYA performed on stage, right? And the power went out. So once they got that situated, MYA went up on stage and she finished her performance. And she decided to call all the ladies up on stage and, you know, give them kind of like a little introduction and so on and so forth. So she introduced everybody. And then when everyone was on stage and she got to Lil Kim's best friend, Tiffany, she leaned over to Kim and said, Kim, like, you know, how do you want me to introduce her? Like, you know, and she decided to make the executive decision of saying, I'm going to have the Queen Bee, Lil Kim, introduce her right-hand man, her best friend. All right. So that's where they're at. So we're picking up in this episode and Lil Kim and Tiffany are talking about it. And Lil Kim is just expressing the fact that she's just showing how overprotective she is of her friend. And she was just saying that she didn't like that. And Kim did have a talk with MYA. She did confront MYA about it when they were going on that little excursion where they were on 2 separate Jeeps or what have you on the last episode. So she did confront MYA, you know what I mean? So it's not like she's talking behind her back. She let her know that she had an issue with it. So Tiffany and Kim are on the deck and they're talking and stuff like that. And Kim is just expressing the fact that, you know, she didn't like the fact that did she forget her name or what it was. Kim just doesn't understand. She doesn't understand Maya's point of view, you know. And Kim basically said that if she herself had forgotten somebody's name, she would have played it off. Well, okay, I get all of that, but Kim was honest in saying that she just didn't understand where MYA was coming from. She didn't say that MYA was being shady. She didn't accuse her of being petty or being shady or having a problem with Tiffany. She just basically said that she just doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. So we see, what else now we see? Oh, MYA is on the phone. First of all, shout out to Girls Cruise, okay? Because I don't know if you guys noticed, they're all using Android phones. And MYA and Chilli, they had the Galaxy S9 Plus. Okay, that's the phone that I have. Holla. And I like that. Like, you know this whole Team Android, Team Apple, which is so corny. But I like to see that they're using Android devices, right? Like, is it just me? Okay, anyway, back to business. So MYA is on the phone. I don't recall who she was on the phone with, but she was expressing, it was a guy, and she was expressing herself saying that, you know, telling the guy what happened. And MYA's just like, you know, I didn't mean any harm by it. Now, I could see why people would get annoyed, and then I could totally like say I don't see what the big deal is. I could see why people will get annoyed because MYA is very laid back, and well, she appears to be extremely laid back. So it can come across as if she doesn't care. But what I see that she is non-confrontational. You can totally tell she's coming across as non-confrontational. And she gave a little story about how when she was younger, her and Pretty V were working out. And Pretty V was trying to get to know her and stuff like that. And MYA kind of gave like a little bit of a testimony about how when she was younger, you know, she was the only girl and she had brothers as far as siblings are concerned. And she always used to get teased. She didn't really get time to like hang out with her friends and socialize with people in her peer group because there was always a rehearsal. There was always a photo shoot. There was always practice. And you oftentimes hear kid stars talk about that. Like they don't have like much of a childhood. Because their parents are always making sure that they're being kept busy, practicing, you know, having shows and things like that. And it sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks. And sometimes parents think that they're doing the right things by their kids, but obviously we see years later as adults, it has an effect on them. And MYA also talked about how when she was in school, how she used to be bullied and, you know, the whole lunch, she painted this picture so, you know, well, how she'd be at a lunch table and everyone at the lunch table will be making fun of her, cracking jokes. And she didn't say that she would like stand up to her bullies. So can you imagine, you know, being a young kid and you're just getting bullied, you're getting attacked by a mob of people at a lunch table at school. So it's not like you can just like escape it. You have to see these people every day because you have to go to school. So I can only imagine what that like, you know what I mean? What that like felt like. I know she probably had to feel so like helpless and just sad. And yeah, so she shared that with Pretty V, you know, and it made a lot more sense why she was so, you know, everyone was kind of ganging up on her. She felt ganged up on, and yeah, she just stayed quiet because it was like no one was really coming to her aid. As far as what is it? B.Simone. B.Simone is smitten by Dreads. She doesn't know his real name. She thinks that he's cute. He thinks that she's cute. So it's entertaining for the show. I don't foresee anything jumping off with them, but who knows? You never know. But it is entertaining for the show. I can't remember. Is it Charlie? That's Marc Jacobs' husband. Charlie and B.Simone, they were working out, or they were talking, and they kind of shared an intimate moment where they both talked about their childhood. And because Charlie revealed that, you know, he didn't really get a lot of affection from his parents, from his mom. No I love yous, no hugs. So B.Simone was inquiring about that, and she shared her story. B.Simone basically was not raised by her biological mother. She lived with her father and her stepmother, and she said that her stepmother was very negative, and, you know, her grandmother really was the one that she spent the most time with. And she often wonders if she was raised by her biological mom, what that would have been like. She said, you know, her stepmother was very negative and mean, and you know, it made her cry. It made her break down, like really break down and cry. So I like we're seeing a little bit of vulnerability with B.Simone, because I didn't know her story. I really didn't know her story, but I do find her very entertaining. She's funny. She's funny for what she gives. So that's real interesting to see. And then Charlie, I think that's his name, said, you know, sometimes people see all of these personalities and they see all of this energy on social media, and you have no idea what someone is going through. And that's true with everybody. You don't have to be on social media. It could be your coworker. You may see your coworker display such poise and you never know what they're going through. But that's why it's important to respect yourself and show respect to others. It doesn't matter if they're of celebrity status or not. So you never know what any of us are going through. Everybody's going through something. You know what I mean? Some people have a harder time getting through things than others. You know what I'm saying? So it's just show common decency, show respect. And if you can't do that, then just leave people the hell alone. But anyway, let me not go off on a tangent about that. So that was a cute moment between B.Simone and Charlie. Now, Lil Kim is going to check, you know, Lil Kim is in the kitchen, you know what I mean? For what? I don't know. You know, Lil Kim is acting as though like, you guys need any help? You know what I mean? With the chefs and stuff like that. I thought that was so cute. I think that she just kind of went down there to just kind of temperature check, make sure everybody was good, you know, seeing what was going on. And I don't remember the guy's name, the chef, the tall, dark-skinned, handsome fella. You know, Kim and him were having an exchange, and she said to him, you know, I noticed like you've been a little bit off lately. So he's expressing to her that his brother just got out of jail, and he was in jail for about 10 years. And Lil Kim shared her story, which is another, I really like this show. I think this show is very well put together because we are seeing Lil Kim is getting an opportunity to tell her story, and she's sharing the platform with her sister friends, which is great. But she's really telling her story because we know the older generation may know a lot about, like people from my age group may know a lot about Lil Kim coming up and all of the salaciousness and, you know, all of the drama with Biggie, Faith, and Charlie Baltimore. You understand? We know all of that, but it's really good to see her be a mom now and be grown and kind of looking back and kind of reflecting and just talking about how she truly felt beyond all of the lights and the wigs and the Lil Kim. Like we're getting to see how Kimberly Denise Jones feels. So she shared her story, and she was just talking about how loyal she is and She's loyal to a fault to her friends. She's very protective of her friends. And, you know, when she went to jail, she made such strong connections while she was in jail. She did a year and a day. I don't know if y'all remember. Do you guys remember was it VH1? I think it was MTV. 10 Days to Lockdown or something like that it was called. This basically was like going behind the scenes and chronicling everything that Lil Kim was doing up until the time she had to turn herself in. If you guys remember that, ooh, that's a throwback. Comment below and let me know if you remember that little like reality special that she had on MTV. I want to say it was VH1. It was either VH1 or MTV. Anyway, so Lil Kim was just talking about, she talked about Little C's, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but back in March, Lil Kim decided to do a dinner. Was it in March? Or was it May for Biggie's birthday? I don't remember. I think it was for Biggie's birthday. But anyway, she's going to be doing a dinner, a yearly dinner to honor the memory of Biggie. I want to say it's the anniversary of his death or his birthday, because his birthday's in the end of May, and I know the anniversary of his death is March 9th. So anyway, Lil Kim basically had this nice setup. This wasn't in the show, I'm just saying. She had this nice setup, and she invited like some of Biggie and her closest friends, and she just basically had a dinner in his memory, and Little C's went. So if you know Little C's and Lil Kim, when she got locked up and charged or whatever, Little C's was the one that kind of ratted her out, which is why she went to jail, and they hadn't talked in years, like in forever, and they were thick as thieves. So she just talked about that briefly, and he did apologize to her at that dinner. Remember, this wasn't in the show, but they showed a clip or what have you of it, and she accepted his apology, and she said that, you know, she moved on from that, which was a great day in hip-hop. I talked about it in one of my What the Friday videos. Be sure to check me out this Friday. What the Friday. Anyway, so yeah, so I thought that was really good to see, like, okay, Kim, we get to know how you really feel. And because she is so mature, she's older now, wiser now, you know, smarter now, we get to hear her true feelings. She can articulate her feelings a lot better now, obviously, versus when she was younger and in the thick of all of that foolishness. So she was just talking about how she just learned so much, you know, being locked up, and it's hard. And she stated, I love the fact that she always shouts out Marc Jacobs. Even long before this Girls Cruise show, long before Wake Me Up with Remy, like when she got locked up and she came out, because she did a year and a day years ago, she always said that Marc Jacobs held her down. Like, she said that he would send her he would write her letters. Like, that's really her best friend. And Marc Jacobs' husband is Charlie, which is also Kim's close friend. But she always talked about Marc Jacobs. Like, they've been close for a long time. And she was just saying that he sent her letters, you know, put money on her books, which is more than Puffy did. Puffy didn't do anything. And she talked about that too. Anyway, so yeah, it's just good to see like that, how seriously she takes her friendships and stuff like that. And she just talks about going through everything what she went through. And then when Biggie died, it was a huge loss for her. It was a huge loss for a lot of people. So you know, it being a huge loss for a lot of people was really good. It's really good to see her kind of like, you know, overcome all of that and give her little testimony. And she basically was encouraging the chef gentleman man, let him know like, yo, you know, your brother is out now, it's all good. And so he felt, you know, he felt good. That was a good conversation. Like I said, I really like the direction of this show, because we are getting to see legends, like, right, legends from like my era, you know what I mean, when I was younger, and we're getting to see them as like outside of the entertainment. You know, they're going through real life things, and they're adapting, and they're just living their lives. So I was here for it. That kitchen scene was extremely refreshing. It was refreshing to see. Fast forward, the captain guy has a crush on Chilli, and you know, he is a little shy, so the guys convinced him to take breakfast up to Chilli, and he asked her out on a date. So I guess that was a date that they went out on. They were on the deck of the boat, and they were chit-chatting and talking. He lives in Trinidad. He's Trinidadian. He lives in Trinidad. Chilli lives in Atlanta. So even before they went on this date, you know, she calls her son Tron, and she's talking about this guy has an interest in her, and she's talking about her dating life. Let's pause. I don't know how old Tron is. I think he's like 20. Is he 8? I know he's over 18, but is he like 21? How old is he? Did you guys find that weird? I mean, I can understand having a close relationship with your child, but I don't think your son wants to hear about your dating life and like how long it's been. And girl, he's probably living his own life and happy that you're away so that he can have a little bit of free time, right? I don't know. Like, I'm a parent, so I don't foresee myself talking about my dating life. I mean, if it's somebody that I'm serious about and I feel comfortable introducing them to my child, that's a different story. But as far as like the dating, and it's so hard to date, and I just want to, your son seems to be your best friend, and that's not bad, Chilli, but girl, like, I don't think he wants to hear all of that. But anyway, it's cute. It's cute. It's good that they have a close relationship. So fast forward, they're on a date. You know, someone walks by and gives whatever his Romeo, is that his name? Romeo gives him a bouquet of flowers. He hands it to Chilli, and Chilli's just basically letting him know, you know, look, how is that going to work? I live in Atlanta, you live in Trinidad, and he's saying that he's not talking to anyone else, he's not dating anyone else, blah blah blah. Is it cute to fill the gaps as far as the show is concerned? Yes. But that's where it starts and stops. That's it. You know what I mean? Moving along. All right. So the big dinner. So all the ladies are having dinner, and everyone is sitting down. Kim hasn't arrived. Tiffany hasn't arrived. So they're all sitting down. So it's Maya, Charlie, Pretty V, B.Simone, and Chilli. So they're kind of like interrogating Maya, saying like, did you forget the girl's name, and making a big deal and things like that. And she explained again what her logic was behind giving the mic to Kim to introduce her friend. So everyone's like, you know, where's Tiffany? And Charlie's just like, I text her, she's on her way. So see, Charlie, I was starting to like you, but you shady. So Tiffany comes out, right? Tiffany has a hat on, like a baseball cap that says, hello, my name is, and she drew in Tiffany. So of course it draws attention to the fact that they're thinking that Maya just forgot Tiffany's name and doesn't want to admit it. So of course that whole mob mentality, everyone's laughing and joking, and you know, Maya doesn't find it funny. And come to find out, it was Charlie's idea to loan Tiffany that hat, and they thought that it would be funny. And see, Maya had just explained about that mob mentality at the lunch table, and she said, you know, this is reminiscent of what I went through before. So Maya held her composure. Then here comes Kim. So they start talking about the situation back and forth, and you know, things like that. They're reiterating the same stuff. So Kim finds herself getting frustrated because she feels that Maya is trying to blame her, which I don't think that she was trying to do, but that's the way that Kim took it. And Kim says, you know, she's trying to make it seem as if I was in on it. I had no idea what was going on, you know, and I just feel like it was a complete misunderstanding, and Maya wasn't backing down as far as telling her truth, and Kim wasn't backing down as far as protecting her friend. So little Kim gets up and walks off because she's frustrated. She finds herself getting frustrated. She walks off. Who goes to check on her? Tiffany and Charlie, they go, you know, behind her, and they're talking in the hallway. Then they encourage Maya to go. Maya goes, you know, Tiffany is making light of the situation, and you can tell that Maya is very nervous. Her voice sounds like it's going to tremble because it just seems like she doesn't want to beef with anybody, but she didn't mean anything by it. And it's like the more she says anything, the more they use what she says against her. So she's just like reluctant to speak. I was getting a little nervous, y'all, because I said, no drama on this show. We are doing well. When I seen Kim get up, I'm like, oh my God, what now? No. So they hashed it out, but they decided to play a trick on the rest of the group to make it seem like they were fighting. So Charlie, he leaves. The ladies are acting like they're yelling. And Charlie's like, I don't know what's going on. So you could see that they were nervous. You know, Tiffany, she goes back to her seat. So Maya and Kim are acting as though they were yelling. And B.Simone looks nervous. Pretty V looked shook. Chilli is like, wait a minute, what's going on? So the ladies are like yelling. They come out and then they're like going back and forth at the table. And then they turn around and say, aha, psych, you know. So they were all shook. B.Simone is so funny. I can't. So, you know, that was cute, I guess. But I was a little bit nervous. I was nervous. I said to myself, I knew it was too good to be true. Like I said, I like the fact that they are using good conflict resolution skills, and they're not doing the typical, you know, gossipy fighting. Because for Christ's sakes, you're on a boat, like a beautiful boat, and you are sailing the seas, and you guys are going from island to island. Like most people club hop. You guys are island hopping. Like, listen, even if I did have a problem with you, I would fake like I didn't until we got off that boat. Okay? I would enjoy my time. So, another good episode. I see a lot of people commenting about the show, like on Twitter and on other YouTube videos, saying how it's corny. And you know what? You know, that's fine. It's so corny is okay. You know what I mean? I just love that this is showing black women, black successful women, in a positive light. Like, these women are of a particular age, Chilli, MYA, and Lil Kim, and then they have the younger generation with them. So what kind of example would they be, you know what I mean, if they're on there acting ratchet? And there's no need for them to act ratchet. I mean, they grew up in a different era, and all of that ratchet behavior was done when they were younger. Like, they're sophisticated ladies, and I like the show. I'm gonna be honest, I like the show. I always wanted Kim to come back to reality TV, and I did not know what to expect with Girls Cruise. And like I said in my last video, man, say what you want to say. Kim is a legend, and she's been opening lanes and trailblazing, creating trends, and here we are again. She's like shifting the whole concept, you know what I mean, of this type of reality TV. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't create reality TV, I know, but most shows that are on now with a full cast of majority black women, it's not as classy and drama-free as this. It's not. You know, name me one. I'll watch it. Let me know. So, Royal Family, this has been another wrap-up. Girls Cruise. I'm here for it. Let me know what you think. Share your thoughts and opinions, respectfully as always. Like this video if you like it. Be sure to check out my other content, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, so I'll be pumping out a couple of videos today. Until next time, Royal Family, peace.